but it was, I was about the only one in the Navy, but I went in as a sailor, of course, just an ordinary matelot. But it was great experience. I enjoyed it.
How did you enjoy life as an ordinary matelot?
To be quite candid, I found it absolutely marvellous. Most of them, of course, a lot of the senior NCOs and people, petty officers and chief petty officers, they had been out of the service probably for 10 years and were gardeners and chauffeurs and so on. So they were very human. If you ask me candidly, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but wouldn't want it to have stayed any longer than the 4 to 6 months that I was on the lower deck, because either you've got to become like one of them and change your characteristics and your education and everything else. But they were lovely people, mostly Geordies, of course, from Sunderland.
So what was your work like when you became an officer? How did it change?
Well, I was amazed at first because I'd come straight from school, you see, and although I'd done reasonably well at school and had authority, it was amazing to find suddenly people were bowing and scraping. One very interesting point, I'd been a matelot and I'd been on the guard at Portsmouth Barracks, and there was a terribly tough sergeant, chief petty officer who looked after us and gave us hell most of the time. And then, after I got my commission, one of the first places I was drafted back to was RNB Pompey. And of course, I went into the guard room. And the difference was really quite remarkable. This chap treated me as though I was a senior officer, whereas before he treated me as though I was a piece of dirt. Lovely man, and knew exactly what to do with people who were coming up from the ranks to be officers.
Why did you volunteer to move out of officer class?
Well, it's a sense of occasion, I suppose. Why did I move out from being a matelot to a...
No, out from an officer to special services. Why
Oh,
did you volunteer?
Because everybody else was just a watchkeeping officer in the ship, and I thought this, I didn't join just to do this. This was rather tame, I thought. And so, I wasn't married, I had no commitments, and a sense of excitement and fun generally. Boys are always boys, aren't they? They like to adventure of some sort.
Do you have any conception of what you were volunteering for?
No, at the time I didn't know at all. But there were several things they could have sent me to, and the captain of my ship said, well, I recommend you to do the navigating side. The other thing was just cloak and dagger, although we had to do all the training of the cloak and dagger stuff. But he said, I think you'd be better suited to navigating and all that goes with it.
What form did your training take? Did you do all that?
All the commando stuff, all the same stuff as the Army Commando. One of the things I found most unpleasant, I suffer a little bit from claustrophobia. Not much, but a little bit. And we had to do the escaping from a submarine in the old-fashioned way. I don't know if you appreciate, but below the conning tower there's what's known as a wet and dry compartment. And when you want to get out of a submarine on the bed of the ocean, you've got to equalize the pressure inside that compartment. Otherwise you'd never get the hatch open to get out. That's what happened in the Thetis, of course. The man got stuck halfway between and the rest couldn't get out. Now that I found tiresome. You stand in a little box and the water rises up like this. You have a Davis escape thing, which is terribly old-fashioned now, but you just had a valve, you turned on the oxygen. And the water gradually rose up got to about just past your mouth, and you didn't have to panic because you couldn't get out. And then you have to just put your hand up and push the hatch open and get out. I found that a bit disconcerting, but we did all the submariners training, although we were never actually submariners. We just travelled in submarines, that's all.